Alright, hello everyone, my name is Amish, and this is the another video of a M+ VOD review for Disc Priest. This time we'll be doing a +20 Throne of the Tides. This week is Tyran, Entangling, and Bursting. So what used to be a pretty good play in previous seasons was to bring a priest for Mass Dispel, but this season Mass Dispel is now on a 2-minute cooldown, so we will see in this video that that did not come in handy quite so much as it did in previous seasons. So for this one, we're going to be doing the standard talent build that I have been using. After doing a little bit of log review, I'm realizing that I might make a swap. I might not take Sanctuary anymore, and I might actually put that point down here into Blaze of Light, just for that extra smite and penance damage. Because I was realizing that Sanctuary actually wasn't doing as much as I thought it would. So that's just one minor change that I think I'll make. But otherwise, for the most part, yeah, this is the talent build that I was using. I think because the way that Ozumat is the very last, what's technically considered to be a boss, with just the huge, like a damage sponge, I don't know, it just really cheeses the meters. Instead of looking at this splash, I'm going to pan over to another couple of screenshots here. And this time I'm going to review side by side my damage and healing breakdown compared to another Disc Priest's damage and healing breakdown with the same trinkets, same key, very similar timing, and just sort of see if what I did is what I should be shooting for. And for the most part, what we can see here is basically I need to be casting Penance / Dark Reprimand much more, as well as Smite significantly more. I've been doing a better job of casting Holy Nova, which is great. I really slam Shadow Word Death, which is awesome. But yeah, for the most part, making sure that I am casting Penance, making sure that I am casting Smite as much as possible, especially now that I have 4-piece. Those are going to really be my my main priorities going forward in future dungeons. Just a couple of other things that I noticed. My Purge the Wicked, I feel like should be a little bit higher. I actually counted the number of mobs in Throne of the Tides, and it should be something like at a minimum 130, but with all of, with the gauntlet, of course, that's going to be greater. And so yeah, only casting it 92 times, I could have at least gotten to 130, so that's an area for improvement as well. And then, yeah, the Web of Dreams, the Nimue staff, I think I only missed one cast of that, so pretty good uptime there. And also the Shocking Disclosure damage. So I really need to get into the habit and get a good keybind for combat potions. This is something that I have struggled with forever, and now is the time that I am going to be changing that and going and using those consistently going forward. So I got one potion of Shocking Disclosure in there, which is improvement from my previous history, but lots of room for improvement there. And then looking at the healing spread, so it looks like, yeah, overall Atonement healing came out on top by quite a bit. I also was really slamming shields this run. I think, and one thing I noticed, and this will come up in the VOD as well, but I had to drink quite a bit. And I have a hunch that a lot of it was due to me rapturing pretty frequently. Mass Dispel, of course, contributed. Having to dispel basically on cooldown throughout. I think that those made it so that, yeah, I was, oh yeah, and lots of Holy Nova, because Holy Nova can really be a mana dump, especially if you start spamming it. And then of course, Power Word Radiance. It looks like compared to this other person's log, I cast it about 14 more times, which is quite a bit. And I think that that number needs to go down. And you'll see that this other log has substantially more renews than I do. I think that's something I need to get into the habit of, and this applies to raid as well. But I need to really be relying on renews as atonement applicators. I think right now I rely greatly on shield and Power Word Radiance, but I think that the Radiance is a carryover from last season's tier set, and I need to drop that. So yeah, better on the flash heals, however, which was a goal of mine in this run. And yeah, but really just focusing on renews in future runs. But overall, you know, just over 100k HPS. Not sure if that's too crazy. Just a little bit more than this other person's log, but yeah, I think we only had one death and it was me. So, you know, there you go. Take that as you will. And then for overall DPS, I think I feel like it could be higher. I always feel like my DPS could be higher, but you know, it is what it is. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and clip on over to the key. All right, so out the gates, we're going to, I believe, go into this pull with a
Empowered
Rapture. Okay, no Rapture. All right, I'm just going into a Schism Shadow Covenant window there. I think in previous times that I played this, I do start this pull with a Rapture, but I think the Schism Shadow Covenant covered it. I have Mass Dispel up, so I'm going to go ahead and use it here with a Radiance to top things off. My nameplates are, something strange happened to my nameplates where KUI nameplates disabled itself somehow, and this was just before the dungeon, so Plater. We're working with Plater this time. For Crushing Depths, typically what I do is I just spam Flash Heal, or a Penance if I have one up. And that seems to work pretty well. I have the little pulling sound for whenever Healing Wave gets cast to make sure that that gets interrupted or screamed at. This is a guild group, so we were able to coordinate that. Oh, yep, and one parting Crushing Depths for the road for me here. Cast a Desperate Prayer, it was good timing. Using Flash Heals for the long atonements. I could get a cast it. Yeah, there, I used my Nimue staff there. Typically, I've been trying to save my Nimue staff casts for larger packs, like greater than 1 or 2. But I think this run I was just trying to make sure that I was getting into the habit of using it on cooldown. So I went ahead and sent it there. You'll see I'm relatively low mana after that hallway. I think I try and get a drink in here, yeah. But I can't stay too long because this pack is a little spicy and we have a hunter.
Empowered.
I'm PIing the paladin this run. He really pops off. Would be a good Holy Nova opportunity, but I chose to smite instead. flash heal myself into the crushing depths. This might be where I die. Yeah, that's where I die. We've pulled this pack differently, I feel like, every time that I've done this place. And so I wasn't entirely sure what to expect here. I think we do just go ahead and do these 3 mobs alone. Typically with the, oh gosh, I don't know what it's called, but sort of the electric circle dispellable thing, I prefer melee over range DPS just so that they're able to keep their uptime. That time I flubbed and dispelled the ranged, so that's just something to keep in mind.
Empowered.
I think theoretically I could have gotten more uptime on PI if I had PI'd the hunter there, but I'd been talking with some hunters recently and they were saying that I was PIing them during Bestial Wrath, I think? I'm not sure. Basically, one of the abilities that's triggering that
Empowered.
PI call is not as powerful as it used to be, and so it's not a good PI target anymore. But I keep forgetting to change that, so I just avoided PIing the hunter this dungeon to make sure that it wasn't inoptimal, and PI'd the paladin because, well, I mean, look at the meters. He goes crazy. Bursting is really tough, generally speaking, but especially for disc, because once things are dead, it's just hard to heal people up. And so it's a scary time. It's a scary time with enough stacks. So I haven't used barrier at all this run, and it's been about 6.5 minutes in. I haven't felt like we've needed it yet. I'm drinking because I'm just really low on mana here. Yeah, I haven't felt like we've needed it yet, but let's see if it comes into play. It should come into play. On Tyran. Pushing depths, try to heal through that. Was pretty quick, I think, because the druid popped Iron Bark. Alright, Lady Naz'jar. So one thing that I don't exactly understand how it works is the Focus Tempest ability. It's an AoE, but it kind of hits at random?
Empowered.
I'm not totally sure. So anyway, I raptured into that just to have something up. There's another one. I don't think I do anything for this one. I think in the moment we were trying to see how it worked.
5, 4.
This is
3.
probably in the dungeon journal, but we were doing some testing for science. Looks like I didn't cast Mind Blast with Shadow Fiend, so that's unfortunate. I missed that extra DPS boost.
2, 1.
Okay, Barrier Focus Tempest.
Five, 4, 3.
Yeah, watching this
2,
back, I'm
1.
seeing the lots of missed opportunities for Smite. I could have raptured this Focus Tempest, but I chose to not.
5.
Okay, I go into Schism Shadow Covenant on the boss during intermission. That's quite unfortunate. A lot of missed damage potential there.
Two, 1.
See if I rapture here. I do. I put a shield on the tank. Looks like I really didn't need to do that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just go ahead and shadowy penance into that burst, and we're good. I've really been aching for more mana for quite some time, but really don't want to hold the group up. I love that sound clip. Okay, so starting things off with mostly full mana, which is great. I always forget that it's good to stack for this first part of the boss. For Bubbling Fissure.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I was
1.
trying. Oh, it didn't get off. That's what happened. Yeah, usually I like to have a Radiance out and then Dark Reprimand into it to top everyone while we're flying. But my Radiance did not get off, so that was unfortunate. Yeah, I used a Radiance
5,
there. I could have just
4,
flash healed.
2, 1.
And my atonements were mostly gone for that. Yeah, see, that's where the long atonements would come in handy. This is one of those bosses that I have the patterns. Like, I understand the patterns, but I haven't quite
Empowered.
figured out the timing yet for when to push what. Theoretically, now would be a good... Oh yeah, that was my bad. Standing far
5,
out. Now would be a good
4,
time to
3, 2.
rapture.
1.
Instead, I... Ooh, so okay, so I don't have anything going into that one. Yeah, this was a messy play all around on my part here. So, Rapture or Barrier would be really good for this next pushback. Let's see if... Let's see what happens. We might just kill
5,
it.
4, 3, 2.
Okay, we just killed it.
1.
So I had Barrier and Rapture up for that fight. Doing that again, I would definitely Rapture the first pushback, Barrier the second, and I think Rapture should be up for the third. Oh, alright, I take that back. We had 3 deaths this run, but not due to enemy forces. I think I did say I would watch the tape back. They definitely were, they were in the line of fire. I'll let them know. I have body and soul talented, so I try to shield the tank where possible for an extra movement boost when I can. So it'd be a great time for a Nimue staff. Push.
Empowered.
Let's see if I do it. Oh, yep, there we go. Very good. Into a Schism Shadow Covenant window. Mass Dispel to get the stacks off. I find I can heal through 3, sometimes 4 pretty okay, but anything after that, it's scary times. Okay, I'm rapturing here. I think the psionic pulses were scaring me a bit, but I don't think there are any more. Ah, there are, but they're getting CC'd. Okay, so I guess that's an area for improvement, is just greater group coordination with stopping the psionic pulses. Because especially on fort weeks, I think that those could, on hierarchies, just kind of kill people. So, something to keep in mind. We went ahead and pulled everything since... Actually, I do not have Mass Dispel up. I don't know why we pulled everything. Probably for cooldown purposes. Put a barrier down. Try to heal through bursting. It's pretty tough. Pretty tough. Well, we lost the druid. Alright, I take that back. We definitely had more than 1 death. The Nimue is about to come up. I wonder if I use it. Oh, I use it immediately. Alright. Again, this run was mostly about me making sure that I was using the Nimue staff on cooldown. Drinking again. Just really dumping mana. So the tough part with this boss is the overlapping fire dot that goes out every 5 seconds, something like that. And so what happens is you can dispel one, but then another one will go out and you don't have anything. And so typically what I do is I alternate. Well, first I triage. I prioritize who gets the dispel and who doesn't. So for example, the hunter and myself will always get the dispel. Paladin's a little bit tankier, so can be healed through it, as well as the druid. Druid is a little bit less tanky than the paladin, however, so I do dispel that on cooldown. I have tools to keep myself up, so I am not dispelling myself just in case the hunter gets it, which he did. This is a very healer intensive fight. I mass dispel myself because I was getting trucked and wanted to catch up. Dispel the hunter. Really just trying to do everything that I possibly can to get through this phase and into the next. Dispelled the paladin, not quite sure why. Probably because his was the most recently applied dot. Good to kill the totem so that your tank doesn't get demolished. I didn't hit Mind Blast here, so that's some loss on DPS, which is
3,
unfortunate.
2,
And we made it to the last phase. This is significantly more tolerable than every other part of the fight.
Forgive me. I have grown too weak to be of any assistance.
Barrier just came up, but
5, 4, 3, 2.
we don't really need it for the rest
1.
of this fight. I think theoretically what I would do is I would have not put barrier down where I did just before this fight, and I instead would have used it during the dot phase. I think that would have been a huge help.
5, 4.
But we did it in the end.
I am weary. You must carry on without me. I shall take my leave once my strength has returned.
So pretty low on mana going into this last phase of the dungeon. But these goblins can kind of truck, especially if you get double speared. So let's see if I drink before running in.
Empowered. Empowered.
I don't. I just go for it. Alright. Bold. Start with a Rapture because these spears can really chunk. I do have Mass Dispel. I Dark Reprimand myself for the extra healing boost, since I needed it. I get another 2 Torments in. Not sure what that was. It looks like I was thinking about putting a barrier down, but decided otherwise. And this must be where I fat-fingered my potion of shocking disclosure. Well, not fat-fingered. Where I used my 1 potion of shocking disclosure. Get some torments in. Very satisfying to do these packs. It makes it look like I do a bunch of damage. Drink in while I can. This is where I barrier. So we didn't have any stacks when I put the barrier down, but we do now. And so doing this again, I will make sure that a barrier is not down unless we have stacks from the unstable corruptions, because that's what's amping the damage from swell. If we don't have any stacks, it does something, but especially on a Tyrant week, you don't need a barrier for that.
Empowered. Empowered.
So that would have been an excellent time to be smiting. I should have been smiting there. Instead, I was doing a lot of more reactive healing when I think I could have been relying on atonement. Darkness down to help. Nimue just came up. And I used it. Very good. Everyone has defensives rolling because I don't have Rapture or Barrier.
The beast has returned. It must not pollute my waters.
And I really have no mana, so I'm stopping to drink now. I usually tell them to pull at about 50%, and by the time it's pulled, I'm at 100 mana, so it works out.
Purify these waters, the servants of filth will surely be stirred.
Try to stack these up as much as possible, but not overlap.
My waters are cleansed.
Really important to cleanse these pools entirely, really. If you fall behind, it's really, really hard to catch back up, so. I'm not sure why the druid died, but we got him back up. Bunch of battle reses, so good to go there.
5, 4,
Again, really important to not stack with
2,
the
1.
Empowered.
My waters are cleansed.
barrage.
Drink in their power.
And really important to clear. And really, if you can do that, this fight's quite easy.
Empowered.
PI the Paladin for AoE. I should rebuff the Druid. I'm not
5,
sure if I
4,
see it in the moment.
2, 1.
My waters are cleansed. Drink
There, I
in
did
their
it.
power. Their filthiness stains.
There we go. Got the last of the goop. Or ink, or whatever it is. Mow down the ads. Clumped up ideally, since they leave behind some puddles.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
My waters are cleansed. Drink in their power.
I seem to have a countdown for the cleansing water thing. I think I should turn that off because that doesn't really tell me anything I need to be prepared for. Usually I save countdowns for things where I need to rapture or put a barrier down or be prepared for damage in some way, and that doesn't tell me that. Alright, time to cheese the meters. This is basically free. Alright, here's where all of my smites come in from the log. Holy. Yeah, so what I just did there needs to be what I do for the entire dungeon. I just really need to up the smites. It's really important. And I got some knowledge, so we love knowledge. Alright, so that's the key. Plus 20 Throne of the Tides. Timed. Got a portal. Everyone's happy. Again, yeah, just a couple combat related deaths. I think the only one that I could have prevented was my own. But for the most part, I think that there was yeah, overall went pretty smooth. I think going higher, there are going to need to be some more considerations for barrier and rapture usage. But overall, went off mostly without a hitch. So yeah, that's all I've got for today, and stay tuned for more key reviews.